Oh, and Giannis, did you see? Oh, hello. We're
What did I say?
live.
What did I say? Keep
Welcome
going.
to Bad Weather Fans.
What
Subscribe and like everywhere.
what did he say?
The Shams, I was telling Mike about the Shams post. He was busy at work. So I was trying to tell Mike before he clicked live that he's out 2 to 4 weeks with a calf strain. Very coincidental.
You think he faked it?
I don't know.
I didn't. I
I don't
mean,
know.
you're insinuating it. Do you think he faked it?
I do.
You can say yes. I mean, there's
I
nothing wrong with
do.
that.
I
It's your
do. I
opinion.
do. I do. But hey, set up the show. Let's start. Let's do our
See, I
thing.
don't. I don't think he's to answer that. I don't think he's James Harden. Like I know, did not want to be in Houston and then did not want to
Right.
be in Brooklyn. I
Right.
don't think Giannis is that kind of guy that would go that far. But I could be wrong. I mean, I could be wrong. I just don't think he is. But
I don't know.
the thing about these calf strains, though, is that does change how I believe teams will think about dealing for Giannis, because you look at some of these horrible injuries that have happened. What's it called? What's the injury called? I'm blanking now. Where Durant
Achilles.
had Achilles. It's these calf strains that started it,
Right.
and then they weren't managed right and turned into where, like, you really need to be careful for whatever
Yeah.
reason. I don't know the NBA why this is happening, but Tatum, Durant, these Halliburton, these calf strains happen, and then the horrible news after the fact. So you got to be careful.
Right.
This is Bad Weather Fans, episode 290. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benesowitz. We are live right now on our YouTube platform, Bad Weather Fans on YouTube. Check that out. Or if you're checking out Alex's Twitter, we're live there. We'll go live for about 30, 45 minutes here and break down the Knicks and the Nets. Knicks winners last night against the Charlotte Hornets. Blow them out. Got a little close at the end of the first half, got it to 6. But then the Knicks kind of took over again in the second half, win that going away. Meanwhile, the Brooklyn Nets continue to play better. Another win for them last night, make it 2 in a row. They defeat the Bulls team, who was depleted, to be fair. No Kobe White and some other guys. But the Nets go in, get the win, and a lot to break down from that game. If you're a Net fan, I know there's two feelings. Some are going to be upset because they're winning basketball games and now taking out their anger on Michael Porter Jr. And unfortunately, the Nets are in real time. If you've watched every game, you can see the chemistry building as they are getting better. And then, of course, yesterday the news broke that from Shams Charania saying that Giannis Antetokounmpo would like to leave Milwaukee. Not exactly that word, but you can tell right now from that tweet and from everything that we heard about from over the summer that Giannis's days in Milwaukee are numbered. But then, of course, yesterday he goes down, as we started this show talking about, with a calf strain, as Alex said, 2 to 4 weeks. So what does that mean for any trade implication? Did we just watch Giannis's last play in Milwaukee? Is he on the move? Is it New York? Is it a host of other teams? Do you think, Alex, I'll be curious if Giannis now, in the summer, it's a little different. But now that he's in the season, you kind of see who the contenders are, who are the real teams. I wonder if he will open up his trade request to go beyond just the Knicks and go to another team. Because I would have to say this. I think this about Giannis. I'd like to get your thoughts. I don't think he's going to want to leave the Bucks in rubble. I think part of him will be like, hey, I want to make sure that you get a return so you're not just this destroyed franchise. For example, if you traded him for Karl Anthony Towns, that'd be one of the worst trades in the history of the sport. So you got to be. I wonder what they do.
Worst
trade
in the history of the sport, I think, is looking like SGA and Paul George or Luka for nothing. You know what I mean? Anthony Davis.
But to be in a place, a team that, if you're going to trade one of the best players in the history of the sport,
right?
And you're not a good team right now,
the second best player in your franchise's history was behind Kareem. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. So and you could argue that Giannis has done more based on, well, I guess we'll see maybe once he's a Laker.
Yeah.
Laker. You can't, the problem is you can't deal Giannis for Karl Anthony Towns because it makes your team worse. Right. Okay. Karl Anthony Towns is a very good player, but if you're below 500 team with Giannis, what are you going to be with Karl Anthony Towns? You're going to be even worse. And then there's all this dedicated money to him, and you're going to build around Karl Anthony Towns and nobody else. That's 10 times worse than Giannis and nobody else. So it makes no sense to make that 1-for-1 swap from the Bucks perspective. It just
Right.
doesn't make sense.
Well, that's the problem with the Bucks situation right now. It's not even the Knicks' fault. It's the fact that they can't even bottom out because they traded all their picks for like Dame and all these other people, and that's the problem for them. That's where they're stuck. You know, that's more preventing the Knicks from trading for Giannis than the Mikal Bridges trade, in my opinion. You know, I think that, you know, because even if they got all these picks that the Knicks had that they traded for Mikal, that, you know, they still can't tank. You know what I'm saying? Like they still can't. They could have all these other picks and they have more assets to do other things. And like I get it, but like they still can't bottom out. You know, so I don't know.
Like here's an example. Let's say that Giannis opens up his trade request. What's a more lucrative offer for if you're the Bucks and you're rebuilding? You tell me. Would you rather have Karl Anthony Towns and a first round draft, 2 first round draft picks from some other team, right? Or so 2 of the Knicks first round picks, Karl Anthony Towns, or let's hypothetically say the Sixers got involved. What do you think would interest them more? VJ Edgecombe and the 2028 unprotected pick that's the Clippers. Like if you're rebuilding,
right?
Would you rather have Towns or the Sixers package?
The Sixers, definitely, for sure. Okay. But it's not about like we keep going back and forth on this every episode. If you listen to us on Bad Weather Fans, available on all platforms, like and subscribe. We keep talking about this over and over. Is that my opinion is that none of that matters because if Giannis says I want the Knicks and only the Knicks, it's going to happen. Like Anthony Davis said, he wants the Lakers and only the Lakers, and it happened. And the Pelicans didn't want it to happen, but it ended up happening because it's too bad. Yeah, you know what I mean. That's just how the NBA works, and you know it sucks. But that's just the drill. Now, you know, I mean, it is.
If that's the case, I don't know if it's the case though.
I don't know. I don't know if it is. And that rumor that was out there yesterday with the Spurs, that's scary. The Giannis and Wemby combination, that's a scary thing because they have the players to get them. They have the young players. They have Castle. They have Fox. They have, you know, there's another guy I'm missing. What was that? Who?
More draft picks
and Harper and yeah, they have guys that they have like legitimate young, really good players and draft picks that you can sell that to the Bucks fan base if you trade up to San Antonio. And then what does San Antonio care? You get Giannis and Wemby, and then you're rocking. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's.
Hawks kind of makes sense too. Trae Young, the Pelican pick.
But are you going to trade Trae Young for Giannis? And then
I mean, look at the Hawks without him. They don't need him. I mean, they're a good team without him. Add Giannis. Well, I guess you got Giannis for Trae. Like,
right.
I don't think Trae necessarily has to be the face of the franchise. This is a team they didn't play well last night. That lost to the Clippers, but the Hawks are a team that's going to be a 4, 5, or 6 seed. You add Giannis to that,
right?
Changes your view of the Hawks.
It does. It does.
I hope he stays in the East. And he's not a Knick. I just want more competition around leaving the Knicks out of the finals. Like if Giannis goes, I'm just being dead honest. You know, if somehow you could get Giannis to the Sixers and then Embiid becomes their 3rd best player, it's like, okay, now I kind of see that happening. Like Maxey, Giannis, and Embiid is your 3rd guy. Different. Now I look at the Sixers very differently.
Right. Well,
obviously.
Let's see.
I'm not breaking. This is not a stunning information, what I'm saying.
We have an early comment from Mr. Freshbeard, one of our great listeners, great follow, good guy, good friend. They're a destroyed franchise already. I don't think Giannis owes them anything, as per the Bucks. I'm sure.
I don't think he does either. But Alex, you know this. You watched his documentary on him and his love for Milwaukee. Yeah. I think he's really torn that he's even got into this place.
There's a Disney movie.
He's fed up.
There's a whole Disney movie.
So I think I think with some of that, he does have loyalty to them
for sure,
more than the average more than most stars would. More than Durant or Harden or Kyrie. I think there is part of him that actually does care about the Bucks and loves the Bucks. He's just fed up. He's done. I mean, he's done.
Right.
He's done.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess he's run his course, but I think getting rid of Dame for whatever reason was the final nail in the coffin for him. And I think it was just like he was his friend. I think that was part of it. And I know Dame has been hurt and whatever, but like, I guess from his perspective, it's like, why would you trade all these guys for things for Dame and then now just let him go? Like,
he's out for the year.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And they upgraded with Miles Turner. I mean, they got better. I'm not saying it was the right personal. He might have taken it personally, but from a basketball standpoint, they got rid of Dame and got Miles Turner. Now, I don't think Miles Turner is,
making anything.
He's like a tier below an all-star. He's a good player. Obviously he's a player on a team that can help you go to a championship. We saw that in Indiana. They were very close.
Right.
But he's not a needle mover. He's not your number. If he's your number 2 option, it's a problem.
It's very true. That's very true.
He's a 4 or 5 or 6 option, which
Right. He's a very good player, a
and he
very
fit
nice
in
person.
Indiana.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I just can't. It's just crazy. Like, what is the Knicks package for him? Like, you can't trade Mikal until February, and you're probably not going to trade him. He also has a trade kicker attached to his contract. So if you do trade him, you owe him millions of dollars. Not a lot, but you'll do it for Giannis, obviously. But Giannis, the report comes out yesterday that he wants to be traded in the next coming weeks. And Doc Rivers gets on his press conference after the Bucks game and says, Giannis has not said that he wants to be traded. I'm like, can we stop playing this stupid game? We know what's going on. He doesn't want to come out and have it on record that he said he demands a trade from the Bucks,
right?
Because he loves Milwaukee and he loves the franchise and he loves the fans. He's a Milwaukeean, whatever that is. So I get it. But at the same time, he's doing it through back channels, and his agent is being the bad guy like he's supposed to, and he's the one getting it done.
Right, and that's his job. Agent doesn't care.
What does he care?
Do you think I care? What making $20 million right now? Like, who cares what people in Milwaukee think? No one's gonna remember him.
You think my buddy Mark in Milwaukee is gonna be the agent's worried about him?
No,
like, you know what I mean?
No, but he's also not front and center. I mean, Giannis is
right.
the face of this franchise for the last decade.
Right. But also, the bigger deal is what happens when Giannis is traded. Does his brothers come with him, or are they going to be stuck in Milwaukee?
I think he goes in the deal.
The both of them, right? I mean, one of them's on a two-way, right? So you got to get rid of him.
I don't know. That's funny. That's like Pete Hoffman. You said just saw his tweet yesterday about Jalen Brunson getting in the deal for Giannis. I'm like, well, then Rick's got to go. Like, yeah, seriously. If they did do that, Rick's got to be in the trade. Like, now Rick's an assistant in Milwaukee.
Right. You got to terminate his contract. Yeah.
Has an assistant coach ever been in a trade before?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know. The Nets, unfortunately, or fortunately, I know they're just Nets have the assets to make the trade, and it's beyond just what they got with the Knicks. But they're just not in the right timeline.
Yeah,
they're just you get Giannis to Brooklyn.
It's got to be a package with somebody else.
He's got to wait for guys to develop along with him.
Right. Right.
He doesn't want to do that. He wants to win. I don't blame him.
No, who would? That's
no. It's in the That's like the timing for them isn't there. But the Nets are in a different place. I've had fun watching the Nets last couple nights, which is something I haven't been able to say in a couple years.
That's good, man.
It's really cool.
I'm happy for you.
You should, yeah. They don't even care about the pity stuff or like the little.
I'm not even being pitiful. Like,
it's awesome.
Yeah, pitiful. I'm not even being pity-ish.
They got something with Danny Wolf. He has looked really good. You could see
the Hebrew hammer, right?
That dunk. His parents were at the Bulls game last night. He was a big Bulls fan when he was growing up. Chicago area kid. Yeah. So they were at the game, and just been fun to watch. Like these big lineups too with Clax, Clowney, and Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and Yegor at the 1, and then whoever they put at the 2. Their lineup is massive.
Right.
They are a big fucking team. And I like Noah Clowney, like how you feel about Mitch and how you felt about RJ. Like Noah is my guy. He's the first person that got through the Durant trade with picks. He's 21 years old. He had 2 points yesterday at the half, then finished with 21 and carried the team with threes in the fourth. Like he's had some ferocious dunks. He's younger than. Or he's 2 months older or 2 months younger than Danny Wolf because Wolf went to school for all those years.
Right.
I make it sound like condescending, like a bad thing, but
idiot.
But because he was developing there, but
right,
it's just fun. I mean, the Nets are fun. There's fans. This is the part I do enjoy. Fans that are upset that Michael Porter Jr. is playing so well because he is hurting the tank, but it's the same people that were mad at Sean Marks because they dealt Cam Johnson for MPJ and that's all they got. So it's like you just have to find a reason to hate on the Nets. They dealt Cam for MPJ and got a first unprotected pick back, which is, a 14-year-old right now.
Right.
Legit. That's not even a joke.
And that's
maybe even younger.
Yes.
But I don't know why a 27-year-old maybe ascending is a bad thing, right? Like, and the part I just can't stop getting through my head is the lottery is so unpredictable that if you're telling, like, if they're going to get the 5th pick or the 7th pick, and that's where they end up in the order, and if you're more upset that they finished with the 7th worst record as opposed to the 3rd worst record, and then go to the lottery, which is a total crapshoot, you're missing the bigger picture. Because if they're playing guys and they're actually developing and playing well and winning, I don't know what to tell you. They started 3 rookies to begin the 4th quarter. They beat the shit out of Chicago. So isn't that what everybody wants? And unfortunately, Michael Porter Jr. If he was on a team that had more wins, the guy's an all-star. I mean, he's crushing it. Well, Jalen Brunson came to the Knicks at that age, and now he's a star. No one thought that. Why can't the same happen here for MPJ, who's passing?
Well,
has
they
been
won.
Incredible.
The Knicks were winning. That was the thing. That's why Brunson was so popular. But no, I get it. It's a wishy-washiness of the fans. Some fans just are miserable no matter what on all teams. It happens with the Knicks too. But especially when you're in this like weird like situation where the Nets are in, kind of like the Jets in football. You know what I mean? It's like you're mad that they started off 0-9, and now you're mad that they're winning. So it's just like, what? Just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Just enjoy, like, as long as you're winning with your young players or just developing the C word, the culture, and you're getting the groundwork for something that you can see in the future with guys that you think could be good. Then what's the problem? Right. What is really the problem?
Right. I don't understand. Crazy to me. I think it's crazy to me.
Yeah,
but the lottery was more. It's just so inadequate too, man. It just
really. I don't get it. And like we say this all the time on this podcast. Bad Weather fans, like, subscribe everywhere, please. We're recording this live, so that's why I keep saying that for the people who are listening in the car on the podcast app. What was my point? Oh, the Pelicans and the Grizzlies got 1-2 in the draft when they won almost around 30 games. And the Knicks ended up with the 3rd pick and probably were the best off for it. You know what I'm saying? So it just stop worrying about it, And this is a very good comment, by the way. Joe Stonker. I just want to pull this one up. He goes, stinky raw stonkers, stinky stonkers, stinky raw smelling raw stinks. Just so you know. That's some deep stuff right there.
No comment.
Shout out to Joe Stonker.
That derailed me from what I was thinking.
It was a very good point, though. You can't deny how good of a point that was.
Having players get better and develop. This is what I wanted to say. I've noticed this. I think you said this, and it got in my head, and I've noticed it more. I'm 42. You're 41. I've noticed that people that are older are less like the tank is everything.
Right.
And the younger demographic is obsessed with it. I don't know. I haven't given it much thought until thinking about it now.
Joe got you.
They do. Thinking about it now. But is there a reason that the older fans aren't as like, this is everything? And the younger fans are like, if we don't get this, the sky is falling.
I think it's just they haven't seen it play out before as much. They've read about it. They've seen things go on like historically. And I think also a lot of fans, younger fans, maybe I'm generalizing here, are not as in tune with history as we were. Maybe I don't know if that's true or not. It just feels that way. We respected the guys that look at the NBA players. They respected the guys that came before them more than current NBA players do. You know what I mean? So I just feel that there's something there with that. But I think it's like we've seen it. We've been through it. We've been through a tank. You've been through the tanks with the Nets, with the John Wall draft. You ended up with Derek Favors and trading him a few months later. You invested so much in that. Like, let's lose. And then the Knicks also, with my side, twice in my life, they really broke it down trying to tank for Towns and then tank for Zion. And it's just such a crapshoot, man. And you have that moment during the lottery where you're like, our world can change right now. And then, even when those teams won the lottery, the Timberwolves sucked forever with Towns. You know what I mean? And prime Towns, young Towns, they only got good and started making the playoffs when they got Anthony Edwards, and you needed help. And the Pelicans are still floundering and trying to trade now Zion. It's just the Grizzlies are a mess with John Morant. Like, the Cavs won the lottery and got what's his name? The
Anthony Bennett.
Yeah, they won it once and got Kyrie, sure. But like, not everybody can win the lottery like 4 times in their history like the Cavs have. Tell me it's fixed, but a team like Cleveland wins it all the time. But I think there's a lot of that where you've seen it. You've seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not even seen it on the situation of what's remembered is the team that wins the lottery that changes their franchise. Like the Spurs won the lottery, got Tim Duncan, their franchise changed forever. The Cavs got LeBron, franchise changed forever. On those kind of situations, there's not a draft that there is like that every year. Like the Mavericks won the lottery and got Cooper Flag. And yeah, they have injuries, but they're not that good. Like it's going to take time. They got to build a team around him, and he might be a good player, but even if he's quote unquote generational, they still might not win any championships with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean everything. You're better off building a team and then adding to it.
When the Celtics the year were tanking for Tim Duncan.
Right.
And this was in, I guess, 98 or 97, whatever year it was.
Mm-hmm.
And they had 2 high lottery draft picks. They ended up with 3 and 6 and missed. They got Chauncey Billups and Ron Mercer. Billups wasn't a great Celtic. Went on to become a very good NBA player. Is now dealing with some other shit right now.
Hall of Famer though. Yeah. Finals MVP.
As clutch as it
big
gets.
Shot.
Ron Mercer had a nice NBA career,
mm-hmm.
but you wouldn't say as the 6th pick did he live up to that level? No.
Right.
And it didn't work for the Celtics. You just don't know what's going to happen. And more important than anything is that the young players you have are developing and playing better. And ultimately, that is what is going to lead a team to a championship. You're going to need a little luck. You're going to need some shrewd moves. Now, do you think Marks is the guy for the job? Who the hell knows? Probably not. But I would say in this little mini rebuild so far, so good. They're playing better. They've got some nice young talent. They've got a bajillion draft picks that they can utilize as assets and as weapons to make deals when they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
They're not ready now. And you just keep going. But I can't live my life and just be miserable about wins when it's guys like Danny Wolf that are helping.
Right.
Like, what do you want? Like, grow up.
Yeah, it's true. Grow up is right. And, I actually used that grow up line on Twitter the other day at Knicks Central yesterday, actually, where
didn't see that.
People are, again, trashing Mitchell Robinson, saying to trade him, this, that, and the other thing. Like, how many years does this guy have to prove to you that he's valuable and, you're not going to get a guy like this on the street? And, like, you're going to trade him and you're not going to get much. His stats don't look great. But when it comes playoff time, when it comes nut cutting time, he's going to show up. And you stop trying to trade this guy every year. Just appreciate the guy. He's the longest tenure Knick. He's been here since he was a little kid, raw. Now he's here. He's a free-flowing, kind of chill dude with his pickup truck, listening to country music. He's a different kind of cat, man. And just leave him alone. Grow up. Like you're not trading Mitchell Robinson. It is what it is. Unless you're getting Giannis. And,
right.
That would be part of the package, I'm sure. Because why would the Bucks not want a really good player? But I would.
Obviously, Giannis changes everything, and he changes the landscape of the NBA.
Yeah.
A team that's going to win a championship, to what you're talking about with Mitch, is you need guys that can do all sorts of different things, and he obviously fills a need of what they can do on the defensive side. And we all know the shortcomings of Karl Anthony Towns defensively, especially in the playoffs. He's a liability, and when you get into more half-court basketball and teams make adjustments, and you just saw this. You just see this happen, like the streakiness of Karl Anthony Towns. And I think that's just what he is, right?
Yeah.
Like there's going to be some games like last night versus the Hornets, and he had the game versus the Nets where he's just looks like the best player in the sport. Yeah. And then there's other games where he'll be 3 for 15, 1 for 9 from 3, finished with 11 and 6. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, why did that happen? And when you do it in New York and you're on a team that's, the Knicks that's going to get so many eyeballs, if you have poor performance in the playoffs, it's ultra magnified. It was big in Minnesota. It's even bigger in New York. And I think having Mitchell Robinson as security blanket there, especially on the defensive side, is so invaluable. It's just about him staying healthy. Now, if you're in the camp of, hey, I don't think this guy's ever healthy, I would trade him now and I would try to get something back where I know I have more reliability in the playoffs, I could understand that take. I could understand, and obviously you'd have to see who you get in return in the trade, but I could understand how somebody could feel that way and just say, hey man, this guy's never healthy. I don't believe that he can sustain it and be there for a full season and be there when it matters. I'd rather cut my ties now and make a trade and get XYZ player back that can help me in a playoff spot. You might disagree with that, but I could see from that lens how you could feel that way. But just to do it because you don't want him there anymore, I think is kind of foolish.
Yeah. So gun to your head, Mike, the old gun to your head spot. Where does Giannis end up? He's obviously not getting traded. He's obviously getting traded. Like, we don't know where he's getting traded to.
Oh man, I really have no idea.
How about
if I had to pick
top three play?
I think the Hawks are real. I'm fantasizing the Sixers because I just think that would be hysterical. And then if he's gung ho on being on the Knicks, I think the trade just takes a long time to happen, but that it does then happen. If he's like, hey, I want to be here, is the only. But I'm also from Milwaukee's perspective. If he's like, I want to go to New York and that's it, I say, sorry, like I can't do it. Then and just make him sit. And I say that from experience with Harden, because that trade that they made for Ben Simmons was the worst trade that Sean Marks ever made. Now, his hand was forced because he had to make the deal.
Right.
But if he just sat tight and said, fuck it, I'm not doing it, the franchise would have been in such a better place. Ben Simmons set them back years.
Yeah.
Years. That was $50 million that didn't play when he did was awful. That trade destroyed. Like, that was one of those trades similar to if I said you got Towns. You just can't make those kind of trades. And at the time, there's a little more uncertainty with Simmons because he had the bad playoff performance versus the Hawks where he was scared to go to the basket. But he had shown moments of being like a really good star level NBA player. It just went that moment, even with the net, nothing good happened. But making that trade, I think in retrospect, I would have just said, don't deal him. Who cares? Make James Harden sit. That's his problem. We can't. I'd rather be bad right now for 2 or 3 months than make a trade because we have to that sets the franchise back for a decade. I would play it out. I would play it out. And then he's sitting there for 2 months and he goes, you know what? Let me open up my scope. Spurs are okay. All right. The Sixers are okay. Force him to then say, because how bad of a look is that for Giannis, who I think cares about his image, where if you were to not trade him and not give into his demand of, I want to go to the Knicks, and he just sits there and rots, I think eventually he would cave and go open up his trade request. By the way, teams that are going to be primed to win the title. I'm not like, he goes to the Spurs, he goes to the Sixers, right? Sixers with Maxey and Giannis don't even work. Let's not even talk about Embiid. That's a great team.
Yeah. No, and you bring up some good points, and there's a lot of historical context to what you were saying where, with the Blazers, when Dame said, I want to go to Miami, they said, no. They said, we're going to trade you where we want to trade you to. They ended up sending him to Milwaukee. And then there was with the Knicks, with Carmelo Anthony, he had the no trade clause that Phil gave him. Otherwise, he would have went to Chicago, Mr. New York over there. But anyway, they ended up saying, like, we want to trade you to OKC. And he was like, no, I don't want to go there. And he's like, I'm not going there. And then there were, Perry was like, well, you're going there. And he's like, no. And he was like, well, there was a stare down all summer, and then media day was coming up. They're like, well, you better come to media day and practice. Otherwise, you're going to be fined. And, Melo, it probably wasn't about the money. It's more like, I don't want to face the media as this Nick, guy who wants to be traded. And, he said, fine, I'll go to OKC. And that's the trade that actually got a pick back. And then ended up being Mitchell Robinson, a second round pick.
Especially Alex too. If he's hurt, like he's not even on the court, what does it matter?
Right.
You're not playing and you're out and you're going to force your way where we're going to have to deal you somewhere where we can't get the value back that we want. Fuck it. Let's wait. I think waiting it out is the best strategy. If he says it's Knicks or nothing, you say, too bad.
Right.
Too bad. Then you have a fight on your hands and you have to do it because it's just, you can't screw your franchise. Now, maybe I'm wrong and they find some trade where they send Towns to the Suns. I'm making this up hypothetically. They get 6 unprotected first round draft picks back from all of these places. And they're like, okay,
yeah,
we made it work. Kudos to Leon Rose. He figured out a path that gets him here and the trade is made. But if it's just, if if the deal can't be constructed that benefits you more than other potential trades, like right now, Alex, phone calls have been made all over the league and they're
Of course.
gauging interest. And
Of course.
then the GM in Milwaukee will go, all right, here is our offers. Which is the best one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Mr. Freshbeard brought up a good point. A good, interesting team. Would you be surprised if the Warriors became a destination for Giannis? A comment. That's an interesting place too. I mean, the last-ditch effort to try to have Steph get another championship, and if you get Giannis there, obviously you're there. But then you gotta deal Jimmy Butler, who of course is never happy. But why would the Bucks want Jimmy Butler? You know what I mean? So that's another situation where, yeah, it sounds good, but you also have to involve a third team. But I'm sure in that situation, Giannis would agree to go to Golden State. I'm sure that there wouldn't be a reason for him not to go. Obviously, it's further away from Greece, but I guess it's a circular globe. He can go the other way. So I don't know. But
okay, yeah,
I'm just saying people have brought that up.
I don't know what's the faster flight, but yeah.
But people have brought that up, like, oh, New York has fastest flight to Greece is the only way that it's a one way, no stop, whatever. Like Giannis is getting on a regular commercial airline and not taking a private jet, or his family. Anyway,
imagine if you get on the flight and you're like, oh my god, I'm sitting next to Giannis. I got no leg room. This is brutal. Giannis and coach.
Imagine Giannis just with like a fake mustache and a hat, walking in there like 6'10", jacked. Like, I'm not Giannis. What are you talking about?
I guess
my name is Steve.
Steve Antetokounmpo. Question from our guy Spen. What about Giannis to the Orlando Magic? I mean, you'd have to deal one of your. I mean, you're not dealing Boncaro. Is it Wagner? And then
the Wagners, you got to trade the Wagners together. So you trade the Wagners for the Antetokounmpos. I mean, is that a good deal?
No. I mean,
Franz is good. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I do love though. This is just the drama that this brings to the NBA because he is the ultimate wild card. He's the ultimate because like right now it looks like OKC is the team to beat in the NBA. They're like 21-1.
Yeah. They're a dynasty in the making. Yeah,
they're just they're last year's team, but improved because they've been together even longer. So clearly, right now,
experience now. Yeah, exactly.
The Thunder are the team to beat. And you put Giannis anywhere in the NBA. Let's say somehow they get him to Denver. You're like, okay,
yeah,
okay. Let's say you get him to the Knicks. Okay, they're gonna steamroll the East. Okay, you get him to any of these teams, it just changes how you view the league. And I actually think that this is the one time where getting him somewhere else is really good for the NBA because the Bucks are lost and you need to get him to a place that can create a little more competitive balance in other places. And, that's why I'm saying get him to Philly, but the show that would be, but I think this is good for the league, getting him out of there and getting him to a place that team that can taking my Knicks hate away, like getting him to the Knicks.
Yeah,
you get a finals of Thunder and versus the Knicks with Giannis. Like, oh my goodness,
great theater. Yeah, no, for sure. Man, I'm just trying to think of an outside the box team that can get him. It's just there's so many teams that could use him, obviously, but where would he agree to? Who has the leverage and who has?
Do you have a list of the league? Bring the teams up, and we can say if it's like this is a team that can do it, not do it for like the Nets have the assets, but aren't in a position for winning. So you bring up this, yeah.
I got okay. I'll just go down the Eastern Conference standings, and I'll go down the Western Conference standings. So you got the Pistons at number 1.
I mean, I don't know what they would give.
I don't think they have the assets.
Think they have it. Yeah.
They don't. I mean, I don't know what their draft assets are, but I don't know who has the Bucks unprotected picks. I forgot who has it. Is it the Blazers?
Is it Atlanta that has it?
Atlanta or Portland? I don't know who has that, but he's not going to Portland.
Look it up.
So then you got the Raptors, which could be interesting because they have a lot of young players. Brandon Ingram's always traded for a superstar. You know what I mean? It's just traded for Anthony Davis, traded here and there. It's always him being traded.
Atlanta
has their pick.
Who has the more favorable of either Milwaukee or New Orleans? So something weird happens. I don't know how that works because they have the New Orleans.
I lost you. Is anybody hearing this? Because I don't hear Mike. If anybody hears Mike, that's great. I don't hear anything. So I don't know what's going on. But all I see is Mike completely frozen, and I think I lost him. Yeah, he's completely frozen. Oh, well, Mike is frozen. He said, I froze. And thanks, Ben, for telling me that Mike is frozen. But Mike is frozen kind of on his O face, but we'll go from there. And I'll try to keep going until Mike could come back here. So I'm going down the list. I think he said the Hawks have the Bucks unprotected pick. So I think the Hawks would make sense because then the Bucks can tank and they can really, really, really let it go. And they can really just, break it down. They can trade everybody. They can just get everybody out of here. They can get their tank. They can throw it away. They can throw away the season and even trade Miles Turner. Wait till February. Trade him. Trade everybody. Then Kuzma, the whole kid and caboodle. They can trade if they can get their picks back this year. That's the kind of thing that the Bucks need to do, and that's what I think is really, really going to kill a trade to the Knicks or a trade to really anybody else, unless Giannis says, I want New York. So that'll be bad weather fans because Mike is totally out of here. His computer is jacked, is his exact quote. Thanks, Ben, for letting me know that Mike is frozen. Bryce Gelman, thanks to you. Shout out to you. Giannis to the Nets. I know you're just trolling. That's not going to happen. But I'm really happy with the state of the Knicks. They're winning games. They beat the Hornets. Did what they had to do. The Hornets, made a little comeback, made it close, but it was never really a close game, honestly. Lost to the Celtics 2 nights ago. Jaylen Brown likes to talk trash after regular season games, but when it's a playoff game, Mikal Bridges was jacking that thing right out of his hands. So, I'm just not worried about him and his nonsense. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get to the playoffs already, with or without Giannis. I say it all the time on my Twitter at Knicks Central. Giannis needs the Knicks more than the Knicks need Giannis. The Knicks are title contenders. They're Eastern Conference Championship contenders. Nobody's beating the Thunder. I mean, got to get to the finals and see what happens, of course. But, whatever happens, it happens. You know what I mean? At that point. And, the Knicks don't need Giannis to get to the finals. If they can get Giannis somehow on a discount now and he says, I want the Knicks and nobody else, and they can get to the trade, let's say just OG Anunoby or trade just Towns, which is not going to happen. But if you get multiple teams involved, then sure. Now the Knicks legitimately could beat the Thunder, but that's a dream situation. And I'm done with the dreaming, the star dreaming, the star gazing. I'm done with all of that as a Knicks fan. I am completely done with that. It's time to win championships and it's time to go right now. And honestly, I think that the Knicks can do it without Giannis. They really can. Thunder have a lot of good luck with their injuries. I'm not sitting here praying for injuries. I'm not sitting here saying that injuries are going to happen to the Thunder, et cetera, et cetera. Shut up. I do think, though, that the Knicks can beat the Thunder. You get to the playoffs to see what happens. I mean, the Thunder look unbelievable. Like, the Knicks couldn't beat anybody last year, but guess what? They beat the Celtics in 6. And they're up 3-1 when Tatum got hurt, so I don't want to hear it. It is what it is. The Pistons are a really good team. I don't know who else can get Giannis. Like I was saying earlier, the Spurs are a team to really look out for, like I said. They have a lot of young players. They have a lot of young talent. They have a lot of draft picks. They have Wemby. They literally can say, take any players on the roster and take any players, any picks. It doesn't matter. As long as you pair up Giannis and Wemby, that is going to be impossible to stop. I know they're technically both injured right now, and I know Wemby will be back eventually. It's not anything serious like last year's injury, which was scary. But honestly, the Spurs can do it. The Spurs can get it done, and that's the team that scares me. I think the Knicks can get it if Giannis says, I want the Knicks. Any other team out west that I think can get him, I don't know. OKC obviously can get him, but they're not going to trade for him because they have a million picks and a million young players. The Timberwolves is interesting, but why would the Bucks want Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert? Like, what would that do for them? But pairing him with Anthony Davis would be amazing. Anthony Edwards, excuse me, would be amazing. There's no other team really. I mean, the East is really the only place that he can go. I mean, who else? Like the Cavs? For Giannis, I don't know. That's why I feel like it's got to be the Knicks or the Spurs, honestly, because the Knicks could really. You got to get multiple teams involved. It could be something like a Carmelo Anthony trade where you get all these teams that are involved. It ends up, or other Anthony Davis or whatever, Luka, everything just, it's never a simple 1-for-1 trade. There's always these random teams that are thrown in there and put together. And then it just becomes this multi-team, this pick and this random player on this random team gets traded here just to make salaries match. And, we got to get an asset, get this guy, whoever's traded in this pick, in this trade. And, it is what it is. That's the NBA, and it sucks. To be like the 12th guy on the bench, and you're really happy with your team. And then all of a sudden, guess what? You're going to Milwaukee. Just like, holy fuck, like Huck Bordy, like, oh, it's a big team, big player for the Knicks, and, good prospect. And, they get these great dunks and blocks, but you know what? Now you're in Milwaukee, bud. We won Giannis. That sucks for him and his family and whatever. But, I'm just really looking forward to how this all plays out. Giannis can give a timeline all he wants. He can give the timeline of, a couple weeks. It's got to be done by Christmas and talk through back channels. But like Mike said earlier before he cut out, it doesn't matter what he says. The Bucks can have no leverage, but the only leverage they have is time. Their leverage is time, where Giannis is going to be wasting his year and wasting his career by not playing or by tanking his reputation with the Bucks. I don't think he gives a damn about his reputation in the NBA. Mike was saying that he cares about his image here and there. I don't know if it's that. I think it's more that Giannis cares about the Milwaukee Buck fan. Giannis cares about the players, like the fans that Giannis cares about. He doesn't care about the league, is what I was saying. Mike is back now with us. I was holding it down. Mike is back. His computer had an illness.
It had to update. Computer updated.
But I was saying that Giannis, I don't think he cares about his image with the NBA, like with fans. I think he cares more about his image with the Milwaukee Bucks fans in Milwaukee.
I agree.
I think that's what he cares about the most.
I agree. Now, thanks for holding it down. Before I left, I was saying if you wanted to bring up some of those other teams, I'm not sure if you just did that. So
I did.
Don't
yeah,
do it again.
I was mentioning
don't do it again. Then
there's not a lot of players like in teams that can get him. Because it really is the East. Because there's no other teams really in the West, like the Timberwolves. That why would the Bucks want Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would they want? Denver doesn't have anything to offer him. OKC is not going to trade for him. It's really the Spurs, and they're not going to want Jimmy Butler from the Warriors, like we talked about from Mr. Freshbeard's comment. It's really the East, that has the best shot to get him. And it's really about wherever Giannis wants to go,
That's why I feel like the Sixers are this wild card because of what they can offer. They're a weird blend.
Yeah.
Because the Clippers, the 2028 unprotected Clipper pick has value. You're seeing that the rookie in Edgecombe has more value than any veteran you can get because you could start to build your franchise around him. And you could make the cap work with sending Paul George and be the contract.
Yeah.
And then just cut him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It kind of weirdly fits.
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be that surprise team. Everybody's saying there's other teams engaged. The other teams engaged, of course. If somebody said, if Shams puts out a tweet, Giannis is available, every team's going to be, it's going to be like a telethon in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Phones are ringing. But, it's not a surprise to everybody.
Yeah, of course.
Plugged in, over the summer, Knicks and the Bucks were discussing a trade for Giannis because Giannis said he wanted to be a Knick. He can act like he didn't say that all he wants. Shams is making it up, and the Bucks in the Bucks Twitter world or Bucks fandom world, they all think Shams is full of it and is just making up things about Giannis and that they can't.
It's a leak from his agent.
Exactly, and it's just their fantasy world kind of thinking, and I think that it's obvious that the Knicks are now just sitting there. They already had their discussions with the Bucks. The Bucks know what they want to offer. They know what their final offer is, and neither team was close. So the Knicks, Leon Rose, they're just going to sit back and wait. People who say that they have sources online can say like, oh, sources say, the Knicks are not going for Giannis. They're not going to call the Bucks about Giannis. Yeah, no shit. I don't need to fake sources to say that. It's really what's going to happen is that the Knicks are sitting there and saying like, you want to trade Giannis to us, our offer, and that's it. And that's how Leon Rose works. And he's done that a million times. The only time that you can say that he didn't get a good value for one of his trades was the Mikal trade. And, at that point, it was an all-in move. So, it is what it is, so, and it's, it's worked. The Knicks have been good. And that's, got their assets. And I think it's worked for both sides so far.
I think for the Knicks, it'll be about if they win a title, if it worked. If not, I don't think it's a good.
At least get to the finals.
I don't know how to like rate the trade because Mikel's a good player, but if they don't win,
right.
I mean, let me ask you this. Now, you and I had a discussion 2 months ago, and you thought I was wrong. Let's say Mikal wasn't a Knick, and they had all of that draft capital. Does it change your view on a trade to get Giannis to New York?
That they could get him?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say yes. I'm going to be fair. I'd say yes. I think they have a better shot at getting him, but still the point that is made is that I've been saying over and over that I still think reigns true over everything is that if Giannis says he wants to be a Knick, he's going to be a Knick. And if the Bucks still had their pick this year, that he'd already be a Knick.
But let's
because
say
then they could just blow it up and be like, "Fuck this, trade Turner, trade
so
this
let's
guy, trade
say
that guy. Let's just
okay.
tank and lose."
Okay, so let's say Giannis did say, "I want to be a Knick."
Yeah.
And they had all of those assets. Would he be a Knick right now?
I think if he came out and made it really uncomfortable, I think yeah.
So over the summer, he said, "I want to be a Knick."
He didn't make it public though. That's the thing. That's the difference.
Okay, if he said, "I want to be a Knick," and Mikal's not here, and think about over the summer, they could have traded Milwaukee's pick back. That pick's gone now. It's
that's true.
It's a Nets player, but those
that's
three
a good point.
All those picks would have gone back. Would it have happened?
See, I don't know. But that's
the answer. The answer is if he wanted to be a Knick and there was more assets to trade, because Milwaukee's like, we don't need to do this right now. We're gonna wait. And it's paid off for them if you think about it. Like if they gave into the demands of the Knicks over the summer and made the trade, whatever happened would have been.
Yeah.
But if they're doing it now, Spurs are going, maybe we can do this. Maybe Giannis's viewpoint changes now that we're a quarter into the season because he can see this team has a chance. Look at the development of Wemby. Wow. I go there. We have the best front court in the last 25 years.
Yeah. It's true.
I do think I'm just speculating that Giannis feels differently about opening up to other teams because he's in it. Like now it's one thing when it's the summer. He's in the locker room every day. Like you have to see these guys. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when James Harden asked to be traded and he was sitting on the bench because it was some promotion for his shoe. And it was bizarre. Yeah. And he just went into the, talk about rotten locker room.
Well, that's like with Melo and the Nuggets when he said, "I want to be traded." And it was the Melo drama. And he had to show up and play a half a season. Like he couldn't just sit out and waste his career. And he's, honoring his contract and doing what was right, but he said it was time, you know what I mean? Time to go, you know what I'm saying? And that's just weird, man. Like I get it. And, Spen Harris, he goes, "I don't think Giannis faked that calf injury last night, but it was a super weird coincidence given the timing." And I totally agree.
I agree.
I think
life's weird.
I think he's faking it. I mean, I can't prove it. I'll never be able to prove it.
Get him on the pod.
MRI. Yeah, Giannis, let me call him up.
That'd be a great spot right now, as my old boss would say. Like if you had Giannis on right now, that would be this. You think 341 views? This thing would go to billions.
What do you think? Millions. What do you think would get us more views? Getting Giannis on here right now, or Barack Obama?
I think Giannis. Well,
you think so?
Nah, probably. Well, I mean, I don't know what. Obviously, getting a president on is a pretty massive deal, but there's no news. I mean, there's always news. There's political news, but I don't know. It's a good question, though. I like this game a lot.
Yeah.
But then you're getting people outside of the basketball sphere interested. So probably Obama.
Okay.
Because there's as popular as Giannis is, you get all the NBA fans would join. And then you get a lot of sports fans, but politics and Giannis is a world. I mean, they both got the world thing. I'll go Obama.
You go
Anymore?
Obama.
I like this game. I'll go Obama. This is a fun game though. Anyway, I would thought you were going to say like.
Okay, so we're gonna do Giannis or that's the name of this game? Okay.
Yeah.
So who do you think would get more views?
We'll end with this.
Who would get more views? Giannis showing up on this podcast. Right?
Views on this podcast, not
views on this podcast.
I want to clarify that. Yeah.
Who would get more views on this podcast right now? Giannis or
Cindy Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney shows up on this podcast.
I don't think so. I don't think she like people really like looking to hear what she has to say. I mean, I don't know if that's really
but
that big of a
again, just
spot.
popularity.
Right. It's got to be somebody who's. Oh, I got one. Giannis or Justin Bieber?
Probably Bieber.
Yeah,
I feel pretty confident about it. I don't think Biebs makes any public appearances anymore. I think that'd be a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
I think Bieber. Bieber.
Yeah.
Giannis or JD Vance.
Oh, I think
I'm not going
JD Vance.
JD Vance.
This is a good one from Spen again. Giannis or Travis Kelce?
That's a great one too. I think in this instant, Giannis. So Giannis or Taylor Swift then?
Yeah, that's actually a terrible question, Spen. I'm sorry, but
I think Giannis in this case.
Travis Kelce's everywhere already. It's not that exciting to see him. Yeah.
If Giannis was on this pod, what would be your line of questioning?
Have you demanded a trade to the Knicks? Straight up, yes or no. And he's gonna say no. I'm like, okay. Has your agent demanded a trade to the Knicks?
Right. Are you open to going? Are you? Did you really demand a trade out of Milwaukee? Let's say he says yes.
Right.
And then he says, but I didn't demand one to the Knicks. Where are you open to going to?
Right. And when he says, I'm not going to divulge that information right now, let's say, okay, which conference is the teams that you would like to go to? Could
you imagine too if Giannis came on and my computer did that? That would be the worst.
And you got stuck in your O face too. You were like, your face was like super like.
How long was it on there for?
It was on there for a good 30 seconds, minute. And I kept talking, and then you were gone, and then I just kept going. So it was fun. Now I see what Jess sees. It was very scary looking.
Oh god, too far. Jess is my wife.
Yes.
Yeah, Giannis. Yeah, that would be the worst if Giannis jumped on and then like the thing froze. I'd be like, God bless you.
That was my biggest fear when we had the big guest on, when we had like Tracy McGrady or
that it wouldn't record,
that it wouldn't freeze. Yeah, when we've had some great guests on this podcast, Bad Weather fans, like, subscribe everywhere. When we had Tracy McGrady, we had Ron Artest, we've had Richard Jefferson a couple times. Like every time that happens, it's always like, try to get everything in order perfectly. Make sure the computer's charged. Make sure that the headphones work. Make sure I'm using the right headphones. Make sure that, my phone is on do not disturb. But like, it's just like all these things, these checklists. And then like,
dude, I do it for a living. I understand.
You get it.
I get it. It's
yeah,
scary.
But if we get somebody on like Spen, I'm kidding. I'm not going to be like going crazy like that. No. Shout out to Spen, though. You know what I'm saying? But like Lee Valentin, my guy, also love him. But you know what I'm saying? It's not the same.
I understand.
Or even like, I mean, other players that are not as popular that we've had on,
Right, I think we get the point, Alex. I think everybody gets the point.
Blow. Spen
it was. I'm not. I would, if Spen came on the podcast and then left, I'd be devastated. I'd be freaking out. Maybe you'd be cool and calm and happy. I'd be devastated. I'd be like, oh,
he's a Nets fan, so what are we gonna do? Listen to Spenny and the Nets podcast if you want to hear Spen talk. But
great Nets pod.
It is.
I'll end with this, Alex, and then I got to roll. The Nets have wins on the road this year versus Chicago and Boston. The Knicks have losses on the road this year versus Chicago and Boston. Means nothing. Nets are a hell of a lot worse than the Knicks. But, if I tweeted that, I'd have 250 comments.
You idiots. Yeah, like, what's wrong with you? Like,
I'm just being silly.
Context, you moron. Yeah, no.
Balls are falling apart. But that's it. Bad Weather fans, 290. Thank you, Alex, for the 7 minutes in heaven by yourself. And I had to get you back. Good stuff. Like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube. If you are watching this live on Twitter, this has been episode 291. It's good to see some people watching on the YouTube feed too. That's cool. That's great to see. There's a lot of hard work goes into this stuff. All right, Alex, I will is there any parting words? Or are you done?
Let's go Knicks. Aaron Glenn was the right coach for the Jets, and he's proven that now. The Mets need to sign Edwin Diaz, and they can't make Devin Williams their closer. I don't think they will. I think they will sign Edwin Diaz, but there's that. What other random thoughts can I think of?
That's enough. All right, Bad Weather fans.
There's a new MLP song that was fire. I like that.
I have to go.
So, Mike, I have Giannis on the line right now.
Do you want to? You can do this on your. If you want to go solo here.
No, we're good.
All right,
we're good. 55 minutes. We're set. Thank you.
Thanks
for
later.
listening, everybody. Bye. Shut it off.